because I've got tons of energy tonight. I think I am just bolstering myself for this debate. So, what do we need to tell you this evening? First thing, I am humbled and honored. I should have told them to tune in this evening, but there are two amazing young women, teenagers named Lauren and Caitlin. They have founded an organization called Trees CO2. It is an organization that is all about replanting, trying to plant 1 trillion, not a billion, but 1 trillion trees around the world. And the initiative comes from grassroots in their family of being environmentalists. So these two young girls that were born in BC, British Columbia, and spent really are into photography and nature, understand the value of our environment. So they headed over, I believe in 2018, 2019, they did a presentation in front of the United Nations, and their organization was sanctioned by the UN as a bona fide organization to really, they recommended them. So you're going to hear more about them. Tomorrow you can read about them in our Changemaker feed, especially on Instagram. But they're amazing. So hats off. I think it's a good time for a little cheer for our Lauren and Caitlin.
Whoa!
All right. So they are the Changemakers this week. And then we always have our Sipping on Stories to share with you on Wednesday nights. This week is, this week's a really great one. You've all met, or many of you that have stayed with me over the weeks have met Erica Hilton. She is a global multimedia artist. She is a writer, a poet. She paints, she works with plastics and incorporates them into all of her art pieces. You've got to check her out at ericahilton.com. I'm not sure if we've got a visual for that, but you can take a look at her website. I had the chance to sit down with Erica and interview her last week. So she's our episode tomorrow. So check us out on sippingonstories.com. You can see a little more extra and you can watch the YouTube video. So plug if you're a YouTuber. Definitely have a little, save a little time out of your schedule to throw on the headphones, maybe when you're, I don't know, cleaning the house or you're cooking or something, and listen to Erica. She's a pretty cosmic, a massive cosmic force. So I'm going to do a little cue on this, and this is a cue to two videos that we have. The first one could be painting. Yes, the first one is Erica painting, believe it or not, underwater. Erica must have massive lung capacity to hold her breath. She said she could hold her breath for a couple of minutes, but literally she was down there with scuba gear, taking a few sips, so to speak, of oxygen, and then doing a little bit of painting. And she is pictured there in Raja Ampat, that's in the Pacific by the Indian Ocean. She is underwater and doing this, and she was on this amazing expedition with a number of scientists and writers and photographers, and she was one of two token artists. The second video that you're going to see is kind of connected to that. It is her in a cage, a shark cage. All right. Things. I like to think I'm a little daring, but this is a whole new level. You could not pay me $1 million to get in that shark cage. There's absolutely no way. But of course, Erica looks great in the cage, and these sharks are swimming right next to her, coming really close, and she's able to see schools of fish and do some photography. So pretty cool stuff. She had a GoPro. We're gonna have a great time. So Erica is our featured episode this week on Sipping on Stories. You don't want to miss her. She's, again, head over to the Sipping on Stories site and you're going to see an upcoming link, I hope, to the Brushwood Center where she is, I don't know, she's always thinking out of the box. And so this time she's working with an orchestra conductor. and doing an art show to music. So it's going to be pretty cool. So hopefully we'll have some pictures to share with you. So those are the biggies. And as soon as I saw those pictures of her swimming in the water, uh, I don't know about you. I just said, God, I really miss traveling. I miss getting away. I know how fortunate I am to have a roof over my head, to be able to have food on the table, and to have security. But it really did make me miss that. And especially as a writer and someone that likes to think I'm making my way into a creative world, it's nice to have space to be inspired and to take in new scenery. So, with that, there's many things you can do. I noticed that we're not seeing a lot of movies coming out. There's a huge dearth right now. There's nothing. Tenet came out, long awaited. I have to talk about that sometimes because you either, I don't know, you either fell asleep or you found it really hard and felt dumb, or you loved it. You loved it. It's kind of one or the other. I really, really loved it. My husband kept his snoring to a minimum, so it was pretty good. It was pretty good. If you are not able to go to the movies, or you don't want to go to the movies, you're nervous about doing that, and you're not streaming, there's like nothing left on Prime or Netflix, we have books. And this is a promotion. She does not know I am doing this. This is my lovely Canadian friend, Susannah Doolin. Susannah Doolin is an author. This is her second book. This woman continues to find new ways to live life joyfully. She's an incredible photographer, actually. That's how I came to know Susannah when I was living in Chicago. I met her, we joined a writing group together, and just had a really great time. So, this is the second of two travel books. They're short stories, and they're her travels around the world. The first one is travels throughout Canada from, sea to shining sea is the US kind of motto, but from the east to west. And this is her going to the Galapagos, to Rome, to Italy. So here's a way to travel. If you're looking for something, you're feeling sorry for yourself, okay? You're like, God, this pandemic, I can't take it anymore. Life sucks. There's nothing to make me feel joyful. I am going to suggest you sip on this story. So, this is a promo, and she does not know I am doing it either. Mindy Doherty has gone to hell and back over and over again. We will eventually have her on Sipping on Stories. She's doing some pretty cool things, but she's had a number of different health issues. She's an Army vet. So she's got a neat little thing on the back here that talks to her experience in the Army, some of the sexual harassment that she dealt with, but also really a lot of the hardship as a young person growing up, which she had to overcome. So writing this book is a story in itself. I met Mindy, and I think last week, when we talked to Deborah and we talked about Deborah's book, we talked about putting the social in media. Um, this is something that Mindy did. I met her on Twitter. I decided one weekend I was going to find out what the hell Twitter was all about. So I said, okay, I'm going to dedicate like my Saturday, which doesn't sound very exciting, tweeting on Saturday. Maybe it is for Trump. I don't know. For me, it was like, okay, I want to try it. And that's where I met Mindy. And anyway, we started this conversation, and then the conversation left Twitter and went to email. And then eventually we started doing Skype, actually, and talked about her book. She had a book out at the time that honestly I didn't like. I read it and I said, oh, this is terrible. We can do better. And so I'm not taking any credit because this is her sweat and all of her time and her tears. And so this is Mindy Doherty's book. It's called A Resilient Warrior. I will promote it more again when we have her on the Sipping on Story show. So this is a super big one. So we are traveling, right? We're moving today. And I just, over the last 2 weeks, said to my husband, this is getting really hard. For those of you that know me on any kind of personal level, you know that any given time, there's about 10 people in my home. And they're all wonderful people, but there's crying babies, there's all kinds of noise. I'm getting a little older and I'm kind of like, I've done my parenting time. So I'm looking for a little bit of quiet. And I love my little grandbabies, but I'm looking for a little quiet. And so we are going to do a little getaway. We're going to do a little getaway. So here's the funny thing. Right now, in the past, a getaway was like, I got to get away from the noise, the traffic, the honking, right? Every time I took a trip, seriously, right? Maybe we're missing that. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing that a wee bit. But any of the trips that I've done where I've had to really like schlep and do something arduous, um, especially the most recent one to Kilimanjaro, I'm not a great sleeper. And so the sound of rain and quiet, that is unbelievable to me. It is so, so peaceful. There is something magical about quiet and the sound of rain. People have told me time and time again, get the Calm app. The Calm app, you can just pick the sounds, whether it's the lapping of the water on the shore of a sandy beach or birds chirping, which would probably drive me crazy. But honestly, like the sound of rain. So I want to escape to that. Okay, but here's the irony in this. I'm actually not escaping to rain. So my husband and I literally made one of those spur of the moment decisions that we needed to get away. Where did we want to go? We wanted to go somewhere warmer. So I don't think there's a lot of rain in Arizona. Not really sure about that, but I'm thinking not. I love the mountains. I love to climb. It's peaceful. So that's where we're headed. We are going to head over to Arizona for a few weeks and just take in a little bit of mountains. I booked this cool, I think it's Vibo. It's not Airbnb. It's another one that I didn't know. So I booked that and we're going to go and just have a little hiatus, a little time out. So that's what we're going to do. And of course, it's probably a little nuts to do it. So right now I'm in the Northeast. We're going to head to Arizona. It's south. Okay, so here's the crazy thing. This happens to me a lot, and I don't know if this is like a warning. When I come back on and you see me again, you'll know if I was like a complete fool. But guess what? So here we are, my husband and I going, yes, we're going to go on this trip. I actually talked to my doctor when I did my physical. He's like, yes, go. And then it hit me. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Okay. I forgot that sort of. I don't know how, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. So there's going to be states that we're going to have to drive through and almost literally not stop. Otherwise, we've got to be quarantined. And there are red states, as you know. So I don't know, ask yourself, would you do what I'm going to do? Maybe tell me what you think. It seems a little crazy to me, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm like, okay, we can handle the pandemic. No problem, right? Well, we have something else. We got something called civil unrest happening. Um, what if we drive through certain routes and we drive right into a protest area and it's not a good thing. What if we're putting ourselves in danger? I know that there is so much unrest out there and rightly so, but people have had it and they do crazy things. So okay, I'm going in the middle of pandemic. I'm going in the middle of probably the greatest social unrest we've had. I don't know actually how this compares to the 60s or the movement when we were protesting Vietnam. Um, it's certainly not the Civil War. I mean, that was, a gruesome loss of life as well as World War I and II. And it's not the pandemic maybe of 1918, but it's pretty bad. Okay, so we got two serious things. Then, what do I find out? A hurricane is coming. I am not joking. A hurricane is coming. It's hitting the Gulf Coast. When you look at the map and that picture there, you're going to see how it travels. And there are literally two ways to get to Arizona. We can go through the south or we can go through the north. So we are so driving across the north and we'll go west as far as we can and drop down and pray that we don't hit this crazy, crazy weather. So, how far are we going? I think it's about 2,500 miles in the car. So we did the math. I've done the drive by myself from Chicago to Connecticut before, and it's really hard not to stop and stay somewhere, but it's about a 16-hour drive, 16 and a half hours. This is 37 hours of driving. I don't need an award or anything. The reward is going to be when we get there and we get to relax in the mountains. And I bring my work there, and my husband brings his work there. But we'll have a change of scenery, and we'll be able to cook in a different setting, and it'll be fun. But that's going to be kind of crazy. So we're hoping to divide it up into 3 12-hour days of driving. Leave at 6 a.m., try to stop at 6 p.m., and just do that over the course of 3 days. We'll see if it works. I'll send you little notes along the way on the road. Getting super excited about it, though. I don't know if anyone would do this. I'd love any advice. That's the other thing. I would love any advice if anyone's hopped on a plane or hopped in the car and done a long drive. Um, tell me what you think. If there's some advice for me in terms of things to anticipate. I was getting a little nervous last night, and I started Googling what to do if you get caught in the middle of a protest and you're in a car. What do you do? So I'm going to try to push those fears away. This place is a place where women and men change makers come, and they do incredible things despite the fear. So we're pushing the fear aside, but we're going to be super smart, obviously, and take as many precautions as we can. I've loaded up on Lysol and gloves and masks, of course, and everything else that I think we're going to need to be safe. And I also know that, here's the other thing. I also know that by going and renting that home, hopefully, and going on the road and hitting the road, I'm going to be supporting some small businesses. So a little part of me justifies our trip with that it's a good thing to do. Yeah, so that's kind of what's ahead. We're going to hit the road this weekend. I plan to be back next week. I will not have my Merlin with me, my producer of all producers that makes this look like it's a flipping Oprah show. It really, like, he does such a great job. I'm not going to call him out today. Maybe I will when I'm away, but it's probably not going to ever get as good as this for the next 4 weeks because I'm going to be away for a little while. So hats off to him for all that he does to make this look so seamless and make me look good. I think I've got some great stuff here. Thank you, Judith, for your note about going. I have to phone you. I can't wait to. And Sue is like the trekker of all trekkers. Thank you, Sue. I'll never forget you doing that. God, what do they call them? Those mud you did when they just came out, and they were those mud kind of things where it was like, I don't know, 8 hours of schlepping through, jogging and running and like mud and dirt and crawling over things. So Sue is a warrior woman. She really is. And of course, Judith, I love you. Thank you for the advice too. Don't worry about the political rallies. I'm really hoping that it's not going to be an issue, but I am going to be hoping and praying too for everyone as always. Yeah, I think the rest stops. Maybe that's a great idea. Maybe that's safer. That's a really great idea, though. I'm going to load up the car with water and, snacks and stuff like that, and make sure we've got that every day so we don't have to do a lot of stopping and just hope that the car doesn't overheat. I am like a crazy doomsday prepare person too. So I have bought so much on Amazon. I don't know about you guys, but I've got like the crank radio that has the emergency light for the side of the road. I bought this $40 flares, triangles that you put out on the side of the road. It's got a heating blanket, like hot packs, all this stuff. So I'm pretty prepared, I think, for hitting the road with that. I think music is a really good idea, Judith. I was thinking this is a chance for me to hear all the podcasts and listen to music I've got the oldest playlist in the face of the earth. I haven't spent any time with playlists, so maybe I'll put some of those together. Those of you that know me, I love Malcolm Gladwell. I'm probably like 3 seasons behind. He does those like bizarre, strange comparisons of things you kind of didn't know that you needed to know. So I'm going to be listening to a lot of Malcolm Gladwell. So please keep sending me suggestions. I love this. The music is really, really good. So we're going to need a lot of that. I hope it doesn't turn out. Remember Chevy Chase in, oh God, European Vacation and, oh God, what was the first one? Christmas Vacation. They were all vacations. It was just vacation, actually. And the grandmother dies and she's on the top of the roof of the car, but they don't stop. They keep going. I am hoping that Barry and I have that fortitude and we're able to do that. I think we're going to be rolling down the window a lot for the fresh air, but not being dangerous, of course. And yeah, the ebooks is probably a good idea too. Then that way I can tune out when I don't want to hear what Barry has to say. That'll be really good too. But yeah, keep those recommendations coming. That would be really super. I want to thank you too, ladies, for coming on and just sharing tonight, coming tonight. I hope that it's been a little bit of fun. I'm looking for suggestions too. When I'm there and on this trip, I'm going to give you, as much as I can about what's new and what I learn about the area. I'm working on a couple of really cool stories as well. So maybe I'll share some of that. Since we launched our Engines magazine, it has gone to print, it's been bound, and honestly, it's going to arrive any day now. For those of you that are anticipating it and waiting for it, it's going to be quite amazing. We're continuing to talk with Mercedes-Benz, and I've got an interview next week with Christina Mittermeier. So God help me on this one too, because I'm tech all by myself again. So that's going to be a little crazy, but I'm excited about it because she's just such an amazing person doing incredible environmental things. So that is probably all she wrote tonight. She should have probably wrote something tonight. We were kind of winging it, but I really had faith that I was going to see some of you in the shed tonight. So I'm going to thank you for coming on tonight. I'm going to let you know that always, every single day, you are in my thoughts and prayers. We really care at WomanScape. WomanScape is not Rose. It started as Rose, but it is a team now of people that work behind the scenes and don't get any of the beautiful FaceTime that I'm privy to. So I want to do a shout out to Pilar, to Mark, to Alex, Leah. I want to shout out to Lori. I want to shout out to Judith, Janice, the people that are reading and helping to shape this continually. Mariana, you're a saint who came at a time that we really needed you. The team is growing. A team is growing, and that's good news. So, no matter what is going on, try not to stress, try not to worry about it. I'm going to take all those pieces of advice. Thank you. And a picnic basket. I think that's great. We're talking romance here. I don't know. Maybe we're going to be able to find that again. It's romance in the pandemic. Does it? It kind of sounds like a book. Maybe we need to have like some romance in the pandemic. Forget Eat, Pray, Love. So we'll see what we can do. But definitely love, love, love all of this and all of you. I hope you have a really, really great night. And I'm so looking forward to coming to you next week, live next week from Arizona. And yes, oh gosh, who's the navigator is a really good question. Well, this is a really good one. Okay, I'm going to tell the truth here. So I'm doing the planning on the side, but he calls me the backseat driver. But I am doing all the where are we going to stop and where are we going to go. Barry will sit in the driver's seat longer because he wants to be in control of that. But when he gets tired and he starts to really get a little snoozy, he'll go to the passenger seat and then I'll get in the driver's seat and we will go a little bit faster. So it will be good. We're a good offset. for each other. And it's going to be a really good time to laugh. Sue, I know Barry misses you too. Barry and Sue had a chance to work together for many years. And, I know he misses that. So, yeah, we'll see who's going to navigate. If we get lost, I'm going to say it was Barry. If we get there in great time and everything works out well, I was doing the navigating. Yeah, that'll be how it goes. Anyway, take care, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I don't need to tell you to hit the subscribe button. You're already coming back every week. Check out the YouTube videos, though. A lot of work is being put into those, and they're really cool. I'm really liking them. The thumbnails, we got to do something about. I'm like in these really bad caption poses, but the actual episodes are so interesting. We did 2 this week as we roll them out, and no episode ever goes the same. So, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. I have a shout out there too, as well, to Jillian. Seeing you, Jillian, and I've got to get you on our episodes for Sipping on Stories and also live in the shed here as well. Beautiful, fabulous, smart, intelligent people out there. Thanks again. This is my third goodbye, but it's for real this time. Okay. Take care, everyone. I hope you have a really great night. And as always, that's a wrap. That's a wrap.